Hi guys, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I want to show you something which is so useful in creating all sorts of things with Procreate on your iPad for various uses, including for cutting machines if that's what you want to do with it at the end. Now, a word of caution here: Procreate is not a vector app. What you create in here you will have to trace. If you're creating PNG files, that makes for very easy tracing. I have some text here, but if I zoom in, you might be able to see that my text is actually made up of text, words. Now this is a very simple thing to do, and it's, as I said, extremely useful. So what I'm going to do is to show you first of all the settings that are needed to create a brush that will travel along the path. Because in the past I've shown you how to make brushes, but the idea has been to spray paint objects and things and not have them following a set path. The randomness has been what we wanted. But when you're using text, or maybe you're using a brush and you want to do a circle or a square or something like that and put a border around it, or whether you want to create a wavy line with a pattern and have it do automatically, this is what you need to do to set it up. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Just going to clear this layer off. Right, now I have some path following brushes which I have made, and the one I've got at the moment is the hello. Right, so at the moment if I do that, it will follow the line. If I do a circle, it will follow that circle, and if I hold on to it, edit the shape and do circle, it'll make sure it's a pure circle, not an oval. That's really handy. If you want to edit it afterwards and pull things out, you can. But to start off with, I wanted it as a circle, so that's what I did. If you draw a straight line, hang on, close that off. If you draw a straight line and hold it, it will make sure that it is perfectly straight. If you draw a line and hold and then move it, you can angle it wherever you wish. If you want to write with it, you can write with it. The secret is that the brush that I'm using is following the path that I want it to go along. So what settings do we need? I'm going to take you into the brush. So to do that, we tap on the brush and you come into the settings. Now mine is on light mode. If yours is on dark mode, all this is going to be black and you may well have your text in white. Now the stroke path, this will depend on how big or how small you want your brush to be. The bigger the brush, the more difference you're going to have to make in the spacing, okay? So if you find that you've got large gaps when you're doing your design, then simply close the spacing down. But the important thing to note here are the things that I don't have activated. No streamlining, no jitter, no fall off, okay? Taper I am going to completely ignore because this is not something I want to alter. Now the shape, obviously I have this as my shape. Now I went into how to design a brush in the first place, and you can, if you wish, use text which is typed in order to make your brush. There's nothing stopping you. That's what I did with this one. But if you don't want to do that, you could use your own handwriting to create a brush. It's up to you, whichever way you find easier. If you want to do some fancy calligraphy, you might find it easier to do the typed version. So on this one, what we need to make sure is that the rotation is set all the way to the right to follow the stroke. Everything else on here is not switched on, okay? Improve filtering, I have no idea what that does. It was automatically on and I've just left it on. When it comes to the grain, you want to scroll down again and you want to again alter the rotation to follow the stroke. Everything else on here, I haven't bothered to alter. Rendering, I'm not worried about. Wet mix, I'm not worried about. Colour dynamics, well, that's up to you. If you want to have your lettering change colour, then what you want to do is ignore the colour jitter, the stroke jitter, and alter the colour pressure according to, the hue according to the colour pressure, the saturation, whatever, the brightness, your secondary colour, do what you like. And also with the pen tilt, you can alter it if you so wish, and I'll put it in the other direction, see what happens there. But other than that, don't need to alter anything. It is having the rotation set to follow the path, which is the really important thing. So, dynamics, nothing altered on there. Now on the Apple Pencil, you'll find that you have pressure, size, opacity, flow, blah, blah, blah. Now, unless you want your opacity to change, then you want to set your opacity right the way over to the left. Because if you put it anywhere over here, it will alter. As you can see, that's very pale and that isn't. Okay, so you want it right over to the far left. The tilt can be left at 0 and go to properties. Now this is where the main way of altering your brush size will take place. If you have this set right the way up to maximum, it will give you the biggest brush that you can make with the design that you have done. If you put it down to, say, 100% or around about 100%, it's going to be the size that you made it and no bigger. But if you do this, it can be made bigger. And you control that by the slider on your iPad when you're doing your design. So then about the brush, I just put in a bit of a scribble there. Even for me, that is definitely scribbly. And I called it hello. And then I pressed done. Now something else that I want to show you, I'm just going to clear this off like so. If I draw a circle, you can tell that my text is going around that circle, edit shape, make it a circle, and it's fine. I'm going to make this a little bit larger next time so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to clear that one off. If I do it this time, you can see it a bit better. Okay. So we have the circle and edit shape. There we go. Now because it is bigger and because the hello itself is a straight item, it will struggle to go round in a circle. So if you're doing something like that, make sure you have the text, your brush, in a size that the circle can accommodate. Okay, and that is where you will probably need to alter the spacing between your brush strokes. Each of these hellos is one brush stroke basically. So if I go to my stroke again and I just go across, you can see that these are very close together. There we are. And I can obviously still do this, which is really handy. Or I could do that, which again is a really useful thing to be able to do. And I alter the size of the text or the stroke by just putting that up or down. If I really want to alter the opacity, I can alter it on this slider here. That is actually the basics, but there is something else that I do need to show you. Now, bear in mind, look at that circle at the moment and how the hello is going around it. All right, I'm just going to make this invisible. Whoops, switch that off. And now I'm actually going to rotate my iPad and just make my iPad vertical. And now, whoops, open layers, do another layer, tap on my brush, same brush. If I do it in this direction, it rotates so that it's going from the inside to the outside. Go into the actual brush, there is a setting in properties and it's orient to screen. And that is what that is doing. It is orientating your movement to the screen you have set up. Now, if you're doing a design and it's suddenly doing the rotation out rather than this, all you need to do is to rotate your iPad if you have it unlocked, and it will do it the other way for you. If you don't know how to unlock your iPad, it's a finger stroke down and then you tap on the unlock. This, for example, which is made into a brush, if you use that, you can do something like this. And I'll just make that a bit bigger so you can see it. And it makes it very easy to do that kind of thing. Or you could have had just a garland. What you do is you use the layer function and you use clipping masks. And then you can do whatever you want to do. So for example, if I switch this off and I put my background colour to something pale so you can see it, this was my original design, and as you can see it's all one colour. But what I did was I created a mask for it, a clipping mask, and then I was able to colour whatever it is that I wanted to colour. And I used a multicolour brush to put colour on there. When it's all done, if you want to have the cut line, I suggest you keep this because it's a very easy trace. And you can export just that one layer, export it as a PDF, and it will automatically retain the size. If you export it as a PNG and print it, it might not print the same size. Found this out the hard way. I was trying to print out PNGs and I was thinking, why is it coming out a different size? Because I had a square design, it was printing it full A4, and I think, oh, what's it doing? If you want to export it as a PNG, the easiest way of getting it to be the correct size is to export it, open it in SureCutsALot, if that's what you have, and then send it to the printer. And it will be the same size as you designed it. But if you print directly from your iPad, use a PDF to print. That is important. So you could print this in black, keep it. You could do whatever you like with the actual colours. And then when you want to cut it out, you scan. If you're using a scan and cut, you can use this to scan so that the shape is exactly as it should be. You can put your offsets on it and so on and so forth. But you can actually cut it out of the other coloured version. Now, to make a brush, you want a square shape. And one of the best ones to do when you add it is to have a 2048 brush blank. Now this is a canvas which is 2048 by 2048 pixels. And I made the blank, I keep it black, and it's ready to go whenever I want it. Hold and press on that and it'll give me the last colour. I don't want that last colour. Okay, I want white. There's white. Go to your, well, in my case it's in favourites, but there's a monoline brush that comes with Procreate automatically. And I can put it down a little bit, maybe. And I'm just going to do a nice little loopy squiggle, like so. Now, if you want to do flowers and you haven't got any flowers in your brush sets already, then you can simply do flowers like so. Grab your colour and put the colour into the flower until you've got it all done. I'm just going to undo that. Oops, undid a bit too much. But if you have, like me, already got some other brushes, so for example, I've got, where are we? Spray paints. I've got some flowers in here somewhere. There we go, there's flowers. And I can just dot my flowers wherever I so wish, and I can make them different sizes. There we go, that's quite nice. And then maybe I want to do some little dots. Go for my monoline again. Yeah, I don't want to alter it. And I'll just do some dots with that. Now, if they're not big enough, I can undo those and I can make them bigger just by doing the slider there. So And then I want my flowers linked to the stalk. And if you want to add some leaves, just add a leaf shape like so. If you want to fill them in, you can expand things with 2 fingers. Whoops. And then you can drop the colour into here. There we go. Now I want to make those have little lines in it, so I want to go back to black. There's a black. And I can put little lines in the leaves, like so. I don't like that last one, I'll get rid of that one, do that one again. So that would be the design for my brush. Very pretty. Go to the tool here and we want to go to the add button and then we just copy. We go to our brush and we go to path following because that's what I want to do, and we click on the plus, and this is going to bring us into our brush studio where we can alter things. So the first thing I'm going to do is to whack this spacing up to somewhere in the mid-40s because I know it's going to be somewhere around there. Tap on the shape, go to edit, import, paste. Here's my design, double click on the done, and this is now my brush. So remember what I did before, which is put the rotation right the way up to the opposite side. Nothing else is being altered. Go to check to see there's no grey, there's no jitter or anything else like that on it. Go to grain and again put the rotation all the way up like so. Offset jitter, I don't want any jitter on it. I'm going to make sure that is switched off. And the next one I want to go down to is the Apple Pencil. And remember, I want to put that pressure down there because I want a solid brush. And this is automatically seemingly set at 9%. What it is, it's working out how far you tilt your pencil when you're drawing naturally. So 9% is going to be something very flat, is going to be tilted. If you tend to work very flat all the time and you don't want the tilt to be operational, then you want to move the tilt up considerably. Okay, that's what that one is. And then on the properties, we want to make sure that we have orient to screen switched on, and the brush behavior we can put up if we want to, depends on what size you might want to do it. And then we can go about this brush, sign here, CIS, what am I going to call that? I've got quite a few the same. Daisy and leaf. Daisy O leaf, it's come up. I'll do, I don't care. There we are, done. So this is now a brush. So go to my gallery and I'm going to pick up a 15 centimetre square canvas, like so. And I've got my Daisy O leaf brush selected. I'm going to put the size down a little bit because it's probably a bit large. And I'm just going to go around like so, hold it, edit shape, tap on circle, and we have a circle done. Now, as I mentioned, if I turn it up the other way, delete that layer, and I do exactly the same thing, you can see I get that outward rotation of the stroke. If you draw a straight line and hold it, it'll be straight. Straight line, hold, and then you can move it up and you can move it out, so you can see the separation between the strokes becomes greater if you do that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.